Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. Stylebender Israel Adesanya, former middleweight champion, chimes in. He talks about UFC 309. He talks about John Jones. He talks about Stipe Miocic. He talks about John's ability to finish Stipe. We're going to get into these comments. Before getting started, make sure to like, subscribe, so we can get our community 1,000 subscribers ASAP. That's much appreciated. Israel Adesanya, last style bender. If there's anybody who I do digress a bit. If there's anybody that I'm interested in seeing as a future analyst, it's this guy here. He has the wits. He has the understanding for the game that allows him to be top analyst. Obviously, he has his YouTube channel. He does his thing, but I want to see him more on a like on actual, fight cards where he's actually commentating or adding his color commentaries, as they say. That being said, obviously, Adesanya is still an active fighter. Still, there are many active fighters who do the commentary thing and chime in when they can. I just want to see Izzy more in the forefront of things. Forefront meaning being an actual analyst on a table, perhaps sitting next to Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier, commentating fights. I believe this role suits Izzy very, very well. I believe this is going to happen in the future. Mark my word. That being said, Izzy, every time it's a big fight, I love to listen to a couple of guys, actually. Israel Adesanya, Alexander Volkanovski. Those two, I always try to listen to what they say, with all respect to everybody else. But these two, their opinions are not, I don't want to say, they're just not sugar-coated. They don't work for anybody per se when they're obviously on their own platforms on YouTube, so they're just kind of voicing their opinion and just being the technicians that they are and having the understanding for the game that they do. That just makes them have a very, very high IQ as far as the fighting game goes, and perhaps even outside of it as well. I cannot be the judge of that, but most certainly two wise, intelligent individuals in the game of mixed martial arts, who, when they say something, a person like myself have to take notice. That being said, and Izzy specifically, as well as Alexander Volkanovski, I believe both of them supported Max Holloway, UFC 300, to defeat Justin Gaethje, which was a moment, in all honesty, prior to that fight. I do digress a bit. Prior to that fight, it was very difficult for me to imagine that scenario. But when these guys, and a lot of fighters said the same thing. They said that Max has the volume, but and Justin Gaethje is just going to look for a broad, and that kind of happened. It happened exactly the way that, especially, guys like Volka and Izzy kind of talked about it. They talked about Max Holloway's volume and stuff like that. So not only are they fantastic fighters, but they have fantastic opinions, and these opinions, sometimes they hit home in a way that, other comments don't. And a lot of comments are made around the MMA world and different MMA media platforms or whatnot. But like I said, I like to refer to guys like Stylebender and Volkanovski because, you were talking about the cream of the crop here. Fighters and analysts. That being said, last Stylebender has chimed in on UFC 309's main event, John Jones Miocic. And it's very interesting for me to hear or see the comments from Izzy. Izzy thinks that John Jones is to finish Stipe Miocic. Now, for me, that's kind of hard to imagine, just because yesterday, I believe, it depends on when you're watching this video, but as of today, the press conference was yesterday. Today's Friday. Tomorrow is the main event. So Thursday's press conference, I saw a couple things that kind of made me change my mind just a little bit about the outcome of this fight, and perhaps made me that much more interested in the fight. First and foremost, is the height difference between the two, and there is a height difference between Stipe and Johnny. Stipe looked like the bigger guy. I mean, in all honesty, I was expecting to see not frail, close to a person that's retired, really, because it's been 3+ years. But that's contrary to the actuality of the situation. Stipe looked fantastic. Now, let me also say this. Just because the guy or gal is all muscled up, this does not necessarily mean that they're going to perform good. Muscles, that are just not the good indicator. But nonetheless, we have to say that Stipe looked great. His skull looked bigger and just overall looked bigger than John Jones. An actual, Stipe's being an actual heavyweight. That being said, prior to seeing that press conference and that interaction, I really thought that this is going to be an easy fight for John Jones. But I kind of have doubts about that now. I think that this fight might actually go the distance. And obviously, there could be a little bit of trouble if Johnny's caught. Stipe has the power, guys. But John Jones, if he shows up prime Johnny, he's going to pick the guy apart from distance. Personally, it's difficult for me to see him finishing Stipe, even though if anybody can do it, is Johnny. I see this fight going the distance and Johnny just kind of winning a decision, right? Unless Stipe catches Johnny. That being said, Johnny can also finish this fight. But what's the likelihood of this happening? I don't know. It seems like that Israel Adesanya seems to think that John Jones is actually able to finish Stipe Miocic. He thinks he's going to finish Stipe. For me, it's just so difficult for me to imagine this scenario, just taking into consideration the sheer size difference between the two. And there is a noticeable size difference between the two. Even if it's 10 pounds or 15 pounds, that's a lot of weight. That's a significant amount of weight. If you made it this far, appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments and subscribe for more.